In this tutorial, we will be looking at how consciousness affects your success. In part 1 of this series, we mentioned that ignorance of a cosmological law will not excuse you from the effects of the law. In this tutorial, we will focus our attention on that which gives rise to law. We're going to try our best to keep the information as simple as is possible so the average individual will understand. According to science, if we remove everything we consider to be matter from a container, there is no proof that the container is not empty. Activity can still be detected in that container. Within the container is a backward and forward movement, a to and fro, a swaying of something that we cannot see. Science calls this backward and forward moving thing waves. Since the thing is moving, it must have energy. And since we cannot see this thing that is moving, science calls it unseen energy in motion or unseen energy waves. When we add quantum mechanics to this scenario, we gain the understanding that this unseen wave or unseen energy is the source of all that we see with our physical eye. This unseen energy wave fills all conceivable and inconceivable space. It is like an ocean of energy waves. There is no break in the energy unit. There is not 2 or 3 energy units. There is one energy unit acting as a complete whole, although infinite. Since everything that is a result of this unseen energy wave, we can deduce that the energy wave has some degree of awareness and is able to go to very high degrees of awareness. So from a quantum mechanics perspective and from a psychospiritual perspective, this unseen energy wave is conscious. It has to be consciousness. And by consciousness, we mean that the conscious energy wave has the ability to think, to focus thoughts, and to create intentions from a thought. While consciousness gives rise to thoughts, consciousness is not thought. In other words, consciousness is more than the thoughts it produces. Consciousness has other aspects to it. There is the feeling aspect, there's a reflecting aspect, there's a reason or logic aspect, and there is a power that allows consciousness to produce all that you can see with your physical eye. So consciousness is one, and consciousness is everywhere. But there are locations in which consciousness is more conscious than in other locations. For example, a plant does not demonstrate the same level of consciousness as a bird. Neither does the dog demonstrate the same level of consciousness as humans. Consciousness functions in different states and stages, but every state and stage of the consciousness has a point of reference at the root of its awareness, and every stage and stage of the consciousness has similar point of reference. This point of reference is one. Consciousness is one. So what you consider to be your true self is actually a part of a wider infinite self. It is a part of the sea of consciousness. And while we refer to you as a unit of consciousness to confer on you individuation and personality, technically speaking, you are simply a part of the whole. We are all a part of the same substance. We are a part of an unseen energy wave or an ocean of consciousness. So how does this energy wave get to manifest different levels of awareness. It does so by means of its vibrational frequency. If you recall, earlier in this tutorial, we pointed out that consciousness had a to and fro or a backward and forward movement. This backward and forward movement is faster in some areas and slow in some areas. The difference in rate of movement causes different levels of awareness. But how does some aspect of consciousness get to begin to move faster, or some get to move slower? Consciousness is able to move slower or faster depending on a force or forces that impacts it. We refer to these forces as thoughts. Whenever thought changes the vibrational frequency of consciousness, the manifestation of consciousness changes as well. For example, when a new thought impacts your awareness and you become more aware or more conscious, your behavior changes to align with the new awareness that the thought has brought about. The more thoughts impact your consciousness, the more your consciousness evolves. And the more your consciousness evolves, the more your behavior changes. Now, I would like to bring one more thought or idea into this tutorial. It is this: your behavior is a manifestation of your state or stage of awareness. You cannot behave more advanced than your state of awareness. There's a law of attraction that governs consciousness and thoughts. There are specific thoughts that are in alignment with specific states and stages of the consciousness. You will not find an individual thinking thoughts that are more advanced than their present state of awareness. So, how do you get to a higher state of awareness? When you reflect on the thoughts that are in alignment with your present state of awareness, they bring about an expansion of your consciousness. And this expansion pushes the consciousness to another state or stage, and in alignment with a new set of thoughts. And as you continue this process, you are being pushed further along the consciousness gradient. How does consciousness affect your success? If you are not successful at your present stage of the consciousness, there is a need for you to move up the consciousness gradient. You will have to let go some thoughts and beliefs that limits your expansion, and you must seek the knowledge that will bring about an expansion of the consciousness so you can achieve your success. As your consciousness advances, it reprograms your brain in a way that you will achieve your desired success. Therefore, we cannot overemphasize the importance of mindfulness. The more mindful you are, the more your brain will adapt to function in a way that your goals can be achieved. You can have the success you desire. As was pointed out, both neuroscience and quantum physics recognize an undeniable correlation between consciousness and the functions of the brain. While the evolution of the consciousness is dependent on the brain is altered by consciousness. Consciousness trains our brain to become what is necessary for us to achieve our goals.